Hey everyone, I'm doing a video today to talk about how to submit cards, specifically through GameStop for PSA grading. I've now done this a few times and I think I've learned some of the tips and tricks. So I want to make a video today to show you what I've learned, how to go through it, and point out 7 tips that I've learned that I wish I knew when I first started. The first point is, why should you grade? And there's really 2 reasons that I could see. The first is for resale and value. Some people want to resell them, or as you may see, what's called raw or ungraded generally goes for 10-15% of what the actual card value is when it's graded. So it is worth the investment to grade them, especially for some of the more maybe expensive cards. The second thing is to slab and protect them. So you can see here, I love Bo Jackson, I love Ken Griffey Jr. and Michael Jordan. So I want to collect these, add them to my collection, get them protected. From a GameStop perspective, when you look into it, I think there's a couple reasons why to go to GameStop. The first is it's essentially the same price as the bulk shipping for PSA. So since they combine orders, you get a discount. The second, it's low shipping, and if you're a pro member, it's actually free shipping. Third is that they track the information for you. And so you don't have to worry about, is it lost or where is it, because there's actually a step tracking process, and I'll show you that in a second. And then fourth, some Reddit threads claim that because PSA has a deal with GameStop, it's actually faster to get your cards back. So, what you do now, you get the cards you want to send in. In this case, I picked 6 that I think are worth grading, that I want to get slabbed. I've inspected them to make sure that they're high quality. And now let's go through the process and take a couple of these and show you what to do.
Okay, before sending off cards, the first thing I like to do is look up the value. In some cases, you might be submitting these cards to get them slabbed and protected for future use. But if you're looking to turn a value, you want to make sure that the value of the card is not less than the grading, right? So if I'm going to spend $20 on Randy Johnson, if I'm going to spend $20 on grading, you want to make sure that your card is worth more than $20. So in this case, you see the Randy Johnson rookie, and over here you can see a PSA 10 is worth $115 on average. I do find that some of these are a little low compared to some of the eBay sales. You can see here, look, ungraded is about $3. So this is really one of the reasons you want to grade, is because raw or ungraded is just a fraction of what it could be. Now in this case, if I come back as a 9, I've technically lost money, right? So if I spend $20 on grading and it comes back at an $18 value, it may not be worth it. So you also want to inspect your cards and get a sense of what you think the grading might be, so that you can get a sense of how it will shake out. So now I've got my Griffey Bowman, and you can see here PSA 10 is $374, a 9 is $34, and an 8 is about $20. So anything above an 8 would give you a little bit of margin on that. So point 1, check the value and make sure that you're not going to lose money. So now if you go to the GameStop card grading service, you'll see they have a lot of information on this page. The next thing you're going to want to do is find a store. And if you click on this, it'll pop up a locator, and you can type in your address, and it'll give you stores that are offering the grading service. So not every store offers this service with PSA. So you're going to want to find a store that does that. It's been ramping up. Even in my area, there's been 2 or 3 stores that have added the service in the last few weeks. So that's really important. When you go into the store, by the way, it's pretty straightforward. They take a picture of all of the cards, and then they print out labels, and a label goes on the back of every one of the plastic cards, card savers, as well as on the packaging. And then they do all the packaging as well. So it's pretty straightforward, and they take care of it. You can see here for baseball, the grading is about $21 with flat shipping for about $5. Which gets to my third consideration, which is consider joining the pros service. So if I go here, becoming a pro member, you sign up. I think it's about $25. Yeah, it's $25 a year to sign up, and you notice you get a $5 reward. You get $5 every month. You save the $5 in shipping. And so if you're going to send in cards to be graded more than twice, you've made your money back because you also get back rewards that you can apply towards future items. So I'd consider joining the Pro. You can see here you're going to save the $5 on the shipping. Um, Another piece to talk about here is this max insured value. So while it's $21, and I didn't really pay attention to this the first time I sent them in, I didn't realize. So what they do is, for shipping purposes and insurance purposes, they're assuming your card is valued at $500 or less. If it's not, you can see here there could be an additional fee. And so if you're sending in a high value card, you could pay more and you're not going to know it until they grade it and it comes back. And then I think you have to pay GameStop for that. So pay attention to that. And obviously you can use that price charting site to get a sense of if you have $1,000, $2,000 card. Just recognize that you're going to have to pay more. Now that is a PSA thing. It's not necessarily a GameStop thing. So if you sent them directly to PSA, you'd still have to do that. And again, some people think, well, what's the difference between grading a $5 card and a $500 card? And they'll tell you it's really for insurance purposes, not necessarily that it's more effort or it costs more to do that. So point number 4 is make sure that you realize that there's extra charges. Point number 5 is look at this turnaround time. It's 65 business days, not calendar days, business days, right? So there's 5 business days in a week. So this is essentially saying 13 weeks. Although, when I look on Reddit and other things, there's a lot of feedback that suggests that there's some special deal with GameStop that somehow they actually come back quicker. So we've talked about dropping off the cards. We've talked about finding the store. The other piece is that's nice about GameStop is from their app or from their website, they actually have this sort of tracking mechanism here. So I've saved off a couple of pictures from my account, which I've blocked off, but you can see my first order I sent off February 1st, and it came back about 2 months later. And what's neat is it tells you when the order's created, they track when they've shipped it, and then when PSA receives it, you get the sort of the different steps in the process. I will tell you the first time I did it, it was in the shipped to PSA status for something like 8 weeks. And so I think they've gotten a little bit better because I think what would happen was it would come into their inventory, sit on a shelf, and then when they picked it up to grade it is when they marked that they received it. So it's not that they didn't get it, it's just that they didn't flag that status. My most recent order, it did track the arrived relatively quickly, and now it's sitting on the arrived status for a few weeks, but at least you know that they've received it. What's also nice is after it's graded, you can actually see the graded card. So I took another screenshot where you can see here on the right, they actually tell you what the PSA rating is and so on. So you can, if you want to be surprised, don't look at this, but otherwise it's nice to see. Here's a couple of the Griffeys that I sent in, PSA 8s, some of the older cards, right, Elston Howard, and so on. So that's nice as well. So they have the good tracking of all of that. So now if I go back to here, the last thing to note is you can get them to for yourself, obviously, but they actually will offer you a trade-in price if you want to turn around a profit, and I think they use some sort of algorithm for that. So hopefully this makes sense and this was helpful. Now let's actually take some of my cards for the next submission and take a look at them.
Okay, now that I've gone through all the information, I've gone online, it's time to prepare your cards, and it's really simple. You really need 2 things. One are these penny sleeves that you can get on Amazon relatively cheap. You just throw the cards in them. And then secondly, I like these card savers. These right here you can see. And essentially, I got my card in the penny sleeve. You just carefully sort of load it here into card saver, right? So that's one. I'll take my Michael Jordan, put him in as well. And again, I like to sort of bend it, pinch it a little bit at the end. So now they're ready. They should go underneath the line. Sometimes, maybe you tap it a little bit just to get it down. But that's really it. And then you take them into GameStop. They do all the packaging. They do all the shipping. Let me know if you have any additional information or any other tips that you've come up with or any thoughts on what I published here. I'm really interested in your feedback. Thank you.